Welcome, Crusaders, and thanks for joining me for Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous. We're back in Dresden after our final encounter last time with Wenduog back in Neatholm. We have returned to Dresden. I did a little bit of crusade stuff along the way, took care of some decrees, did a little bit of building in a couple of our outposts, took care of a little bit of campaigning, and now we're back here. We've got a couple of people, I think, that want to talk to us in the commander's room. So we're going to go there first, and then, depending on how that all shakes out, I think we're going to go and take the Hand of the Inheritor to Pulura's Fall. See if we can make some progress in this Mythic quest. I think that'll be interesting. So I'm going to rest so we can jump back to our room in the Citadel. And we'll see what's happening in here. Okay. Irabeth wants to speak with us. Today, Irabeth looks unusually lively. Her eyes are shining again, which you haven't seen since the battle for the Lost Chapel. Saluting you, she stands at attention. Commander, forgive me for bothering you with a personal matter, but I just wanted to say how grateful I am to you. During the attack on Dresden, I did not exactly cover myself in glory. You had every reason to throw me out of the army or send me to the condemned. Yet you supported me. You helped me regain my footing and continue to fight. You will not regret this decision. I swear I will never again let the Crusaders down, neither by my actions, nor by my words, nor by my thoughts. I will be loyal to the Crusade to the end. Well, I'm glad you feel better now. Thank you, Commander. Irabeth smiles. I have conquered my inner demons, now I can go back to fighting the real kind. Okay, finally finished up that battered spirit quest. Arusula, there is an unusual spring in the succubus's step today, and she has a mysterious smile on her lips that you can't recall seeing before. Oh, Desna, something truly miraculous happened to me. If only you knew. Well, you're beaming with delight. Yes, I have never been so happy before. I used to, and now I'm... No, wait, this doesn't feel right. Look, Arusula takes a few deep breaths, trying to calm down. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have barged in like that. We need to talk one-on-one. I will be waiting for you at the tavern. The succubus runs off without giving you a chance to say another word. Okay. Well, we're going to have to visit her at the tavern eventually. But I think... I want to see if we can progress this Mythic quest. So let's look at this again. Go with the Hand of the Inheritor to Pulura's Fall. I think we need to go speak to him to get that started. That's what we're going to try at least. So we'll head out here. I wish it would let me just want to head out into the courtyard because he's like right here. It's got to be a way that I'm missing. Like, we just want to go out the front door. I don't want to go to any of these places. If somebody knows what I'm missing here, like, because if we X out, it just puts us back inside. So we'll just go to the streets. I just want to go out the front door of the Citadel, but I don't see a way to do that. Oh. We did. Okay. So the streets... It takes us up right out here. Alright. Never mind. So I think... Isn't he right up here? On the rampart? Yep. There he is in all his glory. Okay, let's talk. See if we can get this started. Yeah, Alright, before we do that, let's make sure we know what we're heading into. Tell me about Pulura. I don't think we've been through these.
She is an Imperial Lord, a powerful angel, one of our most important allies, and my loyal friend. She is the mistress of the stars, and the mysterious light of the Aurora. Sarkuris was the land where Pulura was revealed with particular fervor, where her most important temples were located. When the demons came to this poor land, the priests and devotees of Pulura accepted the challenge bravely. Many died protecting and healing their friends in the first years of the calamity. This saddened the Shimmering Maiden. Pulura boldly decided to intervene in the affairs of mortals, and used powerful spells to hide her main temple. Even the strongest of demons cannot find it.
So is that what we're heading to look for? Tell me about the temple and the people who live there.
Pulura's Fall was once a great Sarkorian shrine. From the city of Iz and other lands, the burial barges of great chiefs would go there to set off on their last journey into the mighty streams of the Falls. But the temple was famous not only as a final resting place. Pulura is the patron of stargazers. Her servants possess celestial wisdom. In reading the stars, they discover the mysteries and secrets of the world. In times of old, people would seek their counsel on many different matters, and they were respected and honored throughout Sarkoris. Today, Pulura's Fall is not what it once was. 100 years of isolation has placed an unbearable burden on the shoulders of the stargazers and their guards. But they persevere, despite the hardships. You should meet these people, for you could not hope to find a better example of self-denial and resilience.
I want to know more about Targona and L'Ariel.
Heaven's grief at their loss could not be any greater. L'Ariel and Targona were daring and merciful in equal measure, and relentless in fighting evil. They called each other brother and sister because one soul was used to create them. Yes, it happens. Sometimes an angel is made of many souls, or the essence of the upper planes. And sometimes, one soul can give life to several supernatural creatures. This was the case with Targona and L'Ariel. When the world wound opened, they were the first to go to the mortal's aid. Alas, heaven was in extreme upheaval after great Arodin died. When the evil mind of Arilu Vorlesh, paired with the will of cursed Discari, shook the foundations of the world. While the other angels and Imperial Lords were slowly waking up to the disaster that was unfolding by holding councils and getting bogged down in speculation, Targona and L'Ariel were already fighting demons, leading refugees out of the fallen Sarkoris, and trying to find out what had happened on Golarion and how to deal with it. For what had happened was so monstrous, so extraordinary, that even heaven did not know what to expect next. When Mendev answered the challenge of the Abyss and became the Kingdom of Crusaders, Targona and L'Ariel shared the hardships and glories of the First Crusade with their mortal comrades. And then they both disappeared. First L'Ariel, and then his sister immediately after. I was unable to search for them the moment I found out, for the world wound had just reopened and Dresden had fallen. It was a tremendous blow for everyone. By the time I was able to begin the search, the tide of chaos had swept away all traces of them. Only your arrival has shed some light on the sad fate of L'Ariel.
Okay. This is new here too, I think. What do you think of the Sword of Valor? It has changed under the effect of my powers. The herald raises a hand. Do not fret, champion. The great relic given to the world by my lady Iomade will continue to serve you just as it has served all people before now. The Sword of Valor has not lost its protective properties. It has merely changed its design. Some might call it blasphemous, but not I. For the power that changed the banner's design was given to you by Iomade herself. It seems that I caused the Sword of Valor to change. Blood from the wound on my chest fell onto the banner, and that means this mysterious wound is a mark of valor given to you by my mistress, setting you apart from all the rest, champion. Are you sure this wound is a gift from Iomade? No, I could be mistaken and unable to perceive the full truth. The Inheritor's thoughts are hidden from me, for I am but her hand. I do not test her will with my doubts, nor crave answers to my questions. I simply trust and serve. But I know that if your body has been harmed by malevolent fiends, my goddess would have extended her mercy to you and healed you. Why did the goddess bestow this wound on me? Because this world of yours, champion, is bleeding. And my lady's chosen one carries a crimson mark as a sign of the great suffering borne by mortal kind. The scarlet drops on your breast. They are the blood of all the martyrs and all the innocents. That is how I see it. Can you heal me? Defy my lady's will? It pains me, but I must refuse you, champion. If you are suffering from this affliction, it must be part of the Inheritor's design. The pain serves to remind you of the path you must take. Alright, I've heard you. I think let's go to Pulura's Fall.
I will be glad to accompany you. Gather your companions and let us depart.
Okay, we're just teleporting there. Think we're good with this. Yeah, I like this group. Greybor, I like having him in there too, and of course, I mean, I like everybody here, but I think we'll stick with this, our regular group here for now. Let's go. One thing that we don't have is anybody to cast haste, and I guess we're just doing without it. We're doing fine, really, without it. I guess if we were on a harder difficulty, maybe we would be more inclined to make sure we had somebody that could cast haste for us. But really, we haven't had trouble with a battle for quite a while. Now watch, because anytime I say that, we walk into something that just murders us. So we'll see. Eliandra. The woman's face seems to glow with a radiant light. She looks at you with quiet dignity, and her eyes shine with warmth and wisdom. Greetings, Herald of Iomade, the Lightbringer, and to your companions as well. I am Eliandra, High Priestess of Pulura. I am happy to see a new face in my temple, the first I have seen in all the years of our vigil. The man standing next to Eliandra does not look like a priest. He has a military bearing, and his face is covered with scars. He studies you for a moment, then looks you straight in the eye. Kater, leader of the Holy Guards of Pulura's Fall, I see you have revealed our existence, Hand of the Inheritor. Did we not agree to keep it a secret, even from the Crusaders? What has changed? My righteous allies, this is no ordinary Crusader, but our champion. He brings us hope. He was chosen to receive the gift of the gods, and has twice dealt a serious defeat to our enemies. First, in Canabras, where he thwarted Dascari's devious plot, then in Dresden, where he saved the city and returned the Sword of Valor. I ask that you receive him as a most welcome guest, and as a brother in arms, for we stand together against the hordes of the Abyss. I am Zeke, Knight Commander of the 5th Crusade. I am honored to meet the servants of Pulura and the defenders of Sarkoris. At this point, this would be a pretty dick thing to say. Hope I'm not just wasting my time. Alright. Eliandra lays a hand on her heart. It is an honor for us as well. Tell me about your mission. Why did you decide to remain here in the Worldwound? This temple has been blessed by Pulura. Whether it is day or night, the stars are always visible within the heart of this sanctuary. It is why those who study the stars conduct their observations here. Moreover, if we ever hope to understand the Worldwound, the only place to study it is within its very borders. If we leave Pulura's Fall, all the work we have done over the past 100 years will be lost. You may be wondering why this work is so important. The answer is simple. We are looking for a way to heal the Worldwound once and for all. Through our many years of study, we have discovered that the Worldwound cannot be closed like an ordinary portal or a planar gate, because it is too much like a living creature, always growing and changing. The Worldwound does not simply exist on its own, there is something else that sustains it. And until we understand what that is, our efforts to close it will never succeed. However, we have achieved much over the years. We have disproved numerous theories and trialed various research methods. Tracking oscillating energy levels across the Worldwound led us to an important discovery. The Worldwound has a heart, of sorts, at the place where the wound was first opened, the Threshold Fortress. We've also found a way to weaken the heart, along with the demons that inhabit it. we will imbue a mighty artifact with both the power given to us by Pulura and the memory of the priests of Sarkoris. It will weaken the connection between the Threshold Fortress and the Abyss. This artifact will clear the sky above the fortress and set the sacred northern stars ablaze. Even if this doesn't heal the wound, it will give strength to those attacking its monstrous heart. I have all the resources of the Crusade at my disposal. I'm sure we can assist you in your work. I do not think that's possible. This is our life's work. It requires endless devotion and can only be completed by followers of Pulura in her sacred temple. No one can aid us in this task. However, Eliandra hesitates. There is other work we were forced to abandon because we lacked the strength, time, and resources. We previously explored the possibility of opening new world wounds or improving the existing one. Did you know the wound has already undergone a growth spurt of sorts? It's not entirely clear what happened, but the wound suddenly began to expand at a rapid pace and the energies of the abyss poured out of it. We tried to discover what triggered this event so that we could prevent it from happening again. Research on that subject ended several decades ago, but we can give you everything we managed to discover. However, you should be careful. This is dangerous knowledge, and it must not fall into the wrong hands. Okay, what is the situation in Pulura's Fall? Things are no better or worse than they have been over the past 100 years. The temple is safely hidden from the prying eyes of demons. They simply cannot see it. However, only the most experienced fighters leave the boundaries of the temple, and they do so secretly, for the heart of the world wound lies beyond its walls. Demons and foul corruption, even the corpses of our own dead have turned against us. You say you've been living here for 100 years, but you don't look that old. That is a rather uncomfortable subject for us. But by the will of Lady Pulura, all the inhabitants of the temple live longer than the normal lifespan allotted to mortals. We have no need of the sun orchid elixir, as our queen does. The power of the stars sustains us. We will face Pharasma's judgment only when we fulfill our mission, or the temple falls. The hand of the Inheritor and I have a matter to discuss with you. My righteous allies, allow me to tell you about the matter that has brought us here. You knew Targona and Lariel, the angels who defended Sarkoris in its final dark days. Zeke helped me to discover the fate of Lariel, and it was, alas, sorrowful. But I have not lost hope of finding Targona, and I believe you can help me. Zeke has a special gift, the imprint of Lariel's sword. This sword was made by Targona. I know it's within your power to look for the creator of this blade, if Zeke reveals its power to you. Eliandra and Katir exchanged glances. Of course, we would not deny our help to our allies. My Lady Pulura would also be glad to see Targona return, should we manage to find her alive. But the scrying ritual requires preparation. I will give the necessary orders. You will have to wait until everything is ready and the stars favor our efforts. We will help, but it would be best if you leave Pulura's Fall after the ritual. Forgive my bluntness, Hand of the Inheritor, but you and the Knight Commander are notable figures. The demons are surely trying to track you, and if they follow you to our temple, our work may come to a tragic end. Eliandra's eyes drift over to one of the guards, and she is silent for some time. Then she says softly, I would like you to be our guest for a while, Knight Commander, while you wait for the ritual. See the way we live, talk to our people. Maybe news of the Crusade's revival will bring some cheer to our little community. I would ask you to pay special attention to the temple guards as well as to the stargazers, Auden, Regnard, and Tariel. Dark clouds veil their souls, but it is not within my power to help them. You should honor her request, champion. Eliandra is one of the most radiant souls I know, and Kater is one of the most loyal and devoted. They have spent 100 years together with their comrades in voluntary isolation. It would be easy to lose one's clarity of perspective. I do not know mortals well enough to sense whether doubt or despair lives in the hearts of those who dwell in the fall, but perhaps you can. Okay. Spring runs dry. So we've got a set of tasks here. Look inside the Stargazer's souls. Priestess Eliandra has asked the commander to talk to the members of the Stargazer community. The Hand of the Inheritor also senses that the people's strength and confidence have been undermined. Will the commander be able to return resilience and hope to these people? Will he even want to? After all, a request from a priestess is only a request. Okay, so we've got some people to speak to. Regnard, Auden, Tariel, and Eliandra again, I guess. Alright, let's do it. See what we've got down here. Got a concerned guard. What are you concerned about? The guard stands at attention when he sees you, but his eyes glow with excitement. Whoa, I didn't think I would ever see a new face around here. Well, at least not one that isn't bearing its fangs or decomposing. Forgive my bluntness. Everyone's happy you're here, of course, but I'm especially glad to see you. Sorry, I'm just talking nonsense now. I tend to start blabbering when I get nervous. How does it feel to guard the same place for so many years? To tell the truth, I don't even notice the years as they pass. I just get up every day and do my job. Of course, I could go visit the scholars, look at the calendar and be horrified, but what would be the point? Even before the demons showed up, I made a vow to defend this temple. That vow is all I have left, really. The Sarkoris that I knew is gone, so there's no use dwelling on the past. You're especially happy to see me? What does that mean? The guard looks around quickly to make sure no one is listening. I would never thought I'd say this, but there's an important matter that can only be entrusted to a stranger. I think there's a traitor among us, someone who's trying to bring the demons here. I found a strange letter hidden in a cave, and I think we need to find out who left it there, and why. Why haven't you told Eliandra or Katir about the letter? Just imagine what will happen if Eliandra announces there's a traitor among us. Even if it turns out I'm wrong, the damage will already be done. If we stop trusting one another, we won't stand a chance. We might as well leave the temple and let the demons finish us off. No, we need to get to the bottom of this, but it must be done quietly. What was in the letter you found? That's the problem, I don't know. I think it's some kind of code. It looks like a constellation chart, but who hides a constellation chart in a cave? No, something's wrong here. Alright, I'll help. What do you need me to do? Here's the plan. You'll go to the caves and hide behind a large stone covered in runes. Watch to see who comes to pick up the letter. I left it there as bait, and I made sure to leave everything else untouched. No one has come for it yet, but when you find out who has betrayed us, come and tell me. Why not set up an ambush yourself? I wouldn't be able to do anything without people noticing. Whoever left the note knows when I'm here in the corridors and when I'm off duty. If I suddenly disappear, the traitor will definitely suspect something. No, for this we need an outsider, someone who can move around more freely. We need you. Okay. Maybe Pulura keep you safe. Alright. We've got by the will of the stars here. Ambush the traitor. The shrine's guard has indicated the rune-marked boulder where a mysterious note was found. Possibly intended for enemies. Eager to find out who is engaging in treasonous communication, the guard's interest can be satisfied only by setting up an ambush. Alright, we can do that. So, what do we got going on down here? We got a Stargazer. This guard want to talk? About this guy. Small mushroom patch has clearly been tended with loving care. Okay. That's the tidiest mushroom patch I've ever seen. Okay, we've got an area here to explore, it looks like. Hand of the Inheritors over there. So I don't see a marker related to this ambush in the cave. Is this the cave? No.
The deed is
Inscription
done.
in Hallett that reads, O Sarkoris, all our tears are for you, our lost land. Cryptic message. Yeah, this is the note. So how do we start this ambush? Oh, here. Okay. Ambush the traitor. Hide behind the rock. We gotcha. A dark figure stealthily approaches the drop location. In the dim light, you can see it's a middle-aged man. He looks around furtively as he reaches for the letter. Don't move, traitor. The man nearly jumps out of his skin. His eyes are full of terror. No, it's a mistake. I'm not a traitor. I'm Vistari from the temple. Let's do some intimidation. Why are you mumbling? Tell me the truth, or I'll shake it out of you. Vistari sighs deeply. All right, you don't live in the temple, so there's no need to hide anything from you. I'm breaking the law, but I haven't betrayed anyone. It's quite the opposite, actually. You should come with me and ask Christy. Christree about the meaning of the note. Christree always says she doesn't want to hide anymore, so maybe talking to you will help ease her conscience. Okay, talk to Christree. Oh boy. Who's this? Liland Azada. Oh. Wow. Cool statue there. What's this say? Check it out. A statue of Pulura made in the simple but expressive style characteristic of Sarkoris. There's the hand. All right, can we talk to Liland? I yearn to be in the palaces of Lady Pulura. I long to fly again, to see my brothers and sisters, to be free. Some more stargazers. Door over there. There's Eliandra. Let's check in here with the hand. Champion, how can I help you? Oh, so he can take us home. Remind me what my mission here. What can you tell me about Eliandra? She is the ideal priestess, a selfless servant of the goddess of her people and her people. Eliandra discovered her gift when she was only 13, and ever since then she has healed, guided, and protected the inhabitants of Sarkoris. I have met very few mortals who are capable of such abnegation. She has never married or had a family, but has devoted herself entirely to service. In return, the Shimmering Maiden has rewarded Eliandra for her sacrifice. She has always been the strongest of Pulura's priestesses. What about Katir? He is a warrior, and the strength of his spirit is unmatched. He has devoted his entire life to the cause. His resilience and dedication have helped to protect and preserve the temple throughout the madness of these past 100 years. However, he does not simply defend the temple from its enemies. He also provides the community with the leadership it needs. Eliandra inspires and heals, but that on its own is not enough to keep the temple functioning over such a long period. The inhabitants of the temple keep its existence a secret. How did you find out about it? Pulura herself told me about this temple and about the mission of its inhabitants. The mistress of the Aurora Iobara and I may differ in character and appearance, but we are both angels and protectors of good. We help one another, especially when the matter involves demons, our foe of old. Alright, so for kicks, remind me, what is my mission here and what are we waiting for? We came here to seek counsel. Pulura's stargazers can help us find the missing angel, Targona. While Eliandra makes preparations for the scrying ritual, she has asked you to find out more about the worries and doubts of those who live here, and to provide assistance to anyone who needs your help. Okay. Well, we need to find Christree. Let's check this door here. Vigdis. A tiny old woman runs her bony fingers along the tops of several magic scrolls, her lips moving silently. Who are you? The old woman squints short-sightedly. And who are you? The voice is not familiar and I can't see your face. No, I don't know you. My name is Vigdis. I was once a junior priestess of Pulura, and now I manage the temple's resources and provisions. I put everything where it belongs and keep it safe. If you were once a priestess of Pulura, why aren't you a stargazer like everyone else? The old woman laughs. My stargazing days are over. I only see what's under my nose. Lady Pulura decided my old eyes should have some rest after all these years. Are you a traitor? A traitor? No, there is no trade in the temple. Who would trade with us? I make sure everyone is fed and their needs are met. Whenever anyone brings anything to the temple, they give it to me. Have you brought me something? Or perhaps it's the opposite, and there's something you wish to take. Everyone is free to take what they need. What if I want to take everything? Then you must have great need. Everything here belongs to everybody. Okay, show me what you have in store. You may take or leave whatever you wish. Everything here is as much yours as it is ours. Okay. Wow, everything is free. Apparently. Well, we okay, we don't need everything, but we will take potions. We can always find use for those. Scroll of Angelic Aspect. Sosil could use that. I think he actually knows that. I don't know if we've ever used that spell. But heck, why not just pick it up? Archon's Aura. He's probably got some things like that we ought to be using, and we get through fights easily enough without too much of that. Scroll of Holy Aura. Alright, let's grab it. I don't think we need those things. Alright, you can keep your butter knife and chocolate. Okay. Deal. Thanks. Anyone else in here? We're gonna really rob them. Let's see what's in your chest.
I finished here. Is there more?
Okay, no, we're just gonna leave. Alright, we'll take some ingredients, but we'll leave their stash of gold. Here. So, let's check this way. Flags have been hung in celebration, but they are old and faded and now look more sad than cheerful. There's Auden. The dwarf looks critically at a table that's been set for a feast. There. Plates, cutlery, still no nice cups, though. Just have to wrap the present, and the dwarf notices you and gives you a friendly smile. We finally have guests in our quiet abode. Please come in, have a glass of water. Unfortunately, there's nothing else I can offer you, but our water is of the very purest quality. I'm Auden, by the way, a stargazer, at your service. What's the occasion? My daughter, Renhild, turns 125 today. Such an important date calls for an important gift, but where could I get such a present? Well, luckily there's soft stone in the local caves, and I've carved her a clasp for a cloak. Came out all right, I think. Of course, when we complete our star vigil, I'll get her something better. It seems like only yesterday she was running around in her little shift asking me to toss her in the air. And now, 125. How time flies. Where's the guest of honor? Auden wilts slightly. Truth be told, I don't know. I can only hope she is in a safe place with her mother and aunts. Do you see the packages in the corner? Those are the gifts I never had a chance to give her. I suppose she's outgrown most of them. But what if I'm a grandpa now, eh? My grandchildren could have them. I wish I knew for sure. Auden pauses to think. Wait, you're from Dresden? You must know about Wintersun Village. There was a Temple of Gorham there 100 years ago. Maybe it's still there. We have been to Wintersun. I know that the priests of Gorham were hiding my family and other refugees when the invasion began. Please go to the temple and search for anything or anyone that might provide answers about what happened to my family. Even if the truth is bitter, I want to know. I can't remain in blissful ignorance forever. Very well, I'll find your daughter. You're putting aside your own important affairs just to help me? I don't know how to thank you. Auden gives you a small package. It's been carefully wrapped in parchment and tied neatly with a string. If you find Ranhild, please give her this to her. Let her know that her daddy always remembers her birthday, and give her all my love and good wishes. Present for Ranhild. Okay. Pure water is very rare in the wound. Do not underestimate its value. Of course, but from time to time something stronger wouldn't hurt. Auden chuckles good-naturedly. But we have strict rules about such things. A stargazer can't be seeing double, can he? Guess not. Okay, go and fear nothing. The stars will be your guide. Okay, I missed what our little update there was. Oh, this. Okay. All right, cool. So we're picking up some other quests. Find Gorham. Find Ranhild's trail at the shrine of Gorham near Wintersun Village. Been to Wintersun. I don't know if this shrine is at the same place. We'll see. And then this is Christree. I assume she'd be in here somewhere. Okay, let's continue. Talk to Auden. There's a door back here we didn't check out, and one over there. But we got multiple things here too. Just a little bedroom. Oh, here's Regnard. Oh, it's this. Let's grab the funerary dagger of Erigau the Saint. Let's talk to Regnard. A pale young man is staring at you. Incredible. I didn't think anyone could find this place. You are a gift from heaven. Oh, I mean, forgive my rudeness. I am Regnard, a stargazer. I'm very pleased to meet you. I think you might be the only one who can help me. Why am I the only one who can help you? The undead roam near the entrance to our caves. They were once great warriors, but now they're just corpses, raised to undeath through some foul ritual. I've become very interested in one of them. You see, I study the history of Sarkoris. Legend tells of the great ruler named Elberige, who was buried with his mighty sword, the Rage of Ice. Of course, most people think it's just a myth, but when the guards told me they defeated an undead that was wearing ancient armor and wielding an ornate sword, I almost lost my mind. The guards don't want to get near the corpse again, even if he really is dead this time. But maybe you could bring me the Rage of Ice? Just think, we could prove that Elberige, the Master of Is, really existed. It'd be a breakthrough in historical research. Alright, I'll bring you the sword. I don't know how to thank you. A young man such as yourself must find it difficult to be stuck in one place for so long. Regnard shakes his head sadly. A young man, you say? I've long forgotten how old I really am. By Pulura's grace, my body does not age, but my soul feels dry, as if I'm nothing more than an empty husk. I used to admire the stars, but now all I see are a collection of dim lights in the sky. I know their paths by heart, but... He stops abruptly. But you're probably not interested in all that. Okay, it must be nice to have somewhere to go. Well, yeah. What's this? A rack filled with what looks to be ancient Sarkorian weapons. Bismuth has got himself crammed over here behind the bunk beds. Grab this stuff. Okay, we've met a couple people on our list. Check back here. Haven't found Christree yet. Here's Teriel. An elf stargazer is studying a pile of parchments. His appearance is disheveled, and his attention seems to be entirely focused on the calculations in front of him. And again, I knew it. That confirms everything. When the elf notices your presence, he looks up from his work. The commander of Dresden. Incredible. I never thought I'd hear those words. My name is Teriel, and I'm a stargazer. Tell me this, Commander. You make the rules in Dresden, but do you also abide by them? Of course. As the commander, I must set an example for my soldiers. Teriel looks at you in disbelief. Such noble words. It's been a long time since I've seen a leader who doesn't think they are above the rules. You must know the person I'm talking about, of course. Kater. Okay. Are you trying to accuse Kater of something? I've known him for ages. Trust me, we were close friends for a long time. He certainly knows how to make a good impression, but if you look beyond his fake exterior, you'll begin to see his true nature. Teriel points to the parchments, which are filled with columns of strange digits and symbols. Look for yourself, it's obvious. A week ago it was the stone tree. 3 months ago it was the outskirts of Wintersun. And 20 years ago it was outside of Dresden. 50 years ago it was Iz, and finally 70 years ago the stone tree. I assume he is visiting someone, most likely a woman. Teriel glances at you and frowns. Ah, yes, forgive me. I haven't spoken to anyone about this for a while. To me, this is clear as day, but I can understand how you might find my calculations confusing. The stars tell me about Kater's movements, and I can assure you sometimes he goes to places that are not filled with demons and cultists, but with wine and women. Take Dresden, for example. You see, Kater has forbidden everyone who remained in the temple from seeing their family, but he says it is dangerous, and that we must keep the secret of our lair. The elf's lip curls with distaste, but for some reason this rule doesn't apply to him. We all vowed to stay within these walls and fulfill our duty, yet he gets to leave the temple whenever he wants. So what is he up to out there? I'd bet my life that he's going to see his wife, Imris, or some other woman. What other reason could he have to go to the stone tree? Dresden was still under control of demons 20 years ago. If you'd really been keeping an eye on Kater, you would know that. Teriel considers this. You're right. I keep forgetting about what happened to Dresden. It's hard to remember everything, but on one thing I am absolutely clear. Kater went to the stone tree 70 years ago, and I know that because we haven't spoken since then. A shadow falls across Teriel's face, but his sadness quickly gives way to anger. Well, of course, I have no need to keep track of his comings and goings. Of course not. Why would I when I don't speak to him? But when he's been away for a long time, Eliandra asks me to check on him, to make sure he's still alive. That's why I have these calculations. So you see, it's nothing personal. I simply want what's best for the temple. Sure you do. What's the stone tree? It's a tall tree, withered and petrified even before the demons invaded. For some reason it remained standing. It's supposed to be a sacred place. They used to hold celebrations and weddings there. Imris and Kater got married there too, you know, so it all makes sense. Why don't you tell Eliandra that Kater is breaking the rules? Do you really think she'd believe me? She trusts Kater more than any of us. She and Kater agree on everything. She'll always take his side. Alright, I'll find out where Kater goes. Teriel nods in satisfaction. Excellent. He definitely stopped at the stone tree. I wouldn't be surprised if he is cozying up to some beauty from Wintersun in a cave somewhere. He is probably feasting with her and laughing at us fools for trusting him. May Pulura keep you safe. Now, where did I put my quill? Alright, we got another task at the stone tree. We need to find the sword as well. We've got plenty to do. I wish it would... I guess, okay, these probably aren't going to get checked off until we've helped with their quests. So, we talked to Renard. He's the one we need to find the sword for. We talked to Auden. We need to find his young 125-year-old daughter. Teriel wants to know what Kater is up to. Eliandra, I think we need to speak to her again then about the guard that she is worried about. Here's Christree. Okay. Christree greets you anxiously as if expecting the worst. Are you the commander from Dresden? Although I don't know why I asked, it's not like you could be anyone else. Listen, Christree, the commander I don't think the commander wishes us harm. If you want to ease your conscience, tell him everything. Vistari said you want to confess something to Eliandra. Christy nods. Yes, I want to confess to Eliandra and our entire community that Vistari and I love each other. We've loved each other for so long, we're practically an old married couple. Eliandra is against romantic unions because she thinks tempestuous passions will cause division in our community. But she doesn't understand the nature of love. You can discipline the flesh, but you can't restrain the soul. Not that Eliandra would believe us, but Vistari and I really did try to resist our feelings. We made a vow to stay away from one another, to never again break the rules. Christy sighs. But the bond between us proved stronger than our resolve. Perhaps it's the will of the stars, and despite everything that's happened, we are simply two halves that are meant to be one whole. If Sarkoris hadn't fallen, we'd have lived happily and freely. We wouldn't have to hide, and we wouldn't have to exchange stupid notes. These notes aren't stupid. Do you really want us to be torn apart, forbidden from seeing one another? Eliandra is a kind and wise leader. I will persuade her not to stand in the way of your love. Christy looks at you doubtfully. I've known her longer than you. Of course, Eliandra is kind, but she is also very stubborn. Once she has made a decision, there is no point trying to change her mind. She and Kater are much alike in that regard, except he always does what's right, and she always does what her heart tells her. And of course, her heart has told her that love should be forbidden, supposedly for the sake of peace in the community. Ha! These stupid rules haven't helped anyone to find peace. Alright, let's go back, speak to Eliandra. And then, we have to check out this way too, don't we? Alright, before we go up there, let's talk to her. We've been in there? I'm not sure. Oh, wait. Let's not start the ritual until we've actually helped folks. Let's talk about the Stargazers, Vistari and Christy. Eliandra looks up and sighs. Vistari and Christy, my dear rebels, you must think I am harsh for enforcing such strict rules here in the temple. But such measures are necessary when you live through decades of isolation in such a small community, shut off from the rest of the world. Love and all the jealousy, discord, quarrels, and breakups that go along with it could result in genuine disaster. Vistari and Christy are the living embodiment of such a disaster. I love them with all my heart, like they are my own children. However, before the temple was hidden 100 years ago, they could have 5 quarrels and 6 reconciliations, all between one moonrise and the next. At other times, they would go a month without talking to one another. That created quite a problem, since stargazers are supposed to share their observations and research. This carried on for years until, after a particularly public fracas, I decided to forbid all romantic relationships in the temple. It was an impulsive decision, I admit, but it was not made without reason. I was trying to maintain peace in our community, and I was also concerned for the feelings of others. Many of those you see here, Auden, Teriel, and even Kater himself, parted with their families for the sake of our mission. It is unfair for them to be the only ones so painfully deprived. So that is why love and relationships are now forbidden in the community. And as you can see, the rules are largely the result of Vistari and Christy's own actions. Well, it is, you're right. Let's try some diplomacy, though. You've lived here for many centuries. You've become a family. Does a family reward love with punishment? Vistari and Christy have loved each other for a long time, and it's not just a sudden whim. They deserve your acceptance. Eliandra is silent for a long time. I'm afraid this decision will be the most difficult for Auden, Teriel, and the others who have lost their families. It may also cause chaos in the future. But perhaps you are right. We should not try to thwart the desires of the heart. I will inform the community about the changes to the rules. Okay. What do you know about Arilu and the opening of the world wound? More than some, but not as much as I would wish. I've been to Threshold, the fortress where outlawed spellcasters were held, and where Arilu conducted her monstrous ritual. I even saw the betrayer in the flesh, though only briefly. Arilu was rumored to be a dangerous witch. For many years she had lived in isolation, carrying out strange experiments in deliberate obscurity, but she was noticed in the end. The best witch hunters tried to capture her, and it is said that many of them perished in the attempt. But when I saw her, she was no longer a dangerous enemy. After many, many days in a dungeon, she was nothing more than a pale shadow. I was told her spirit was already broken when she was brought to Threshold, and she gave the guards no trouble. However, I think it is safe to say now that her compliance was simply a ruse, a cunning deception. When the wound opened, it shook the world. My Lady Pulura, in her heavenly wisdom, was one of the first to realize the magnitude of the threat, and sent her priests a vision, along with an order to run and hide. But many couldn't find it within them to obey this order. How could they leave their beloved homeland, their homes, family, and friends? Many of my brothers and sisters perished, losing a hopeless fight against wave after wave of demons. I was destined for a different fate, and so was my shrine. Lady Pulura hid it from the eyes of the demons. I had a vision telling me about the work that needed to be done to avenge the fall of Sarkoris and rid the world of the world wound. That was when I learned this difficult task would take a century to complete, and that would require us to make many sacrifices, but I was willing. Tell me about Sarkoris. Eliandra's face lights up in a smile. It was a wonderful land, even if many thought it savage and wild. It still lives in my memory as if nothing has changed. I can see the barges gliding across the surface of the lake. I can smell the fresh air and feel the wind on my skin as it moves through the green forests. Sarkoris was never ruled solely by one person, nor was it governed by a single faith. Clans lived in accordance with their own customs and settled important issues through lively debate in communal meetings. Matters involving the whole country were decided in by a gathering of the elders, priests, druids, and chieftains. We worshipped Aristil and Pulura, the spirits of our honorable ancestors, the sanctity of nature, and a dozen different deities and magical creatures. That is what Sarkoris was, a land of freedom. However, Eliandra's eyes grow sad. That freedom was not extended to all. As I think you know, only the magic of druids, priests, and other divine spellcasters was considered honorable. Those who used arcane magic were treated with suspicion, which grew into hatred. It grieves me to remember this, for our hatred was returned to us in full when the witch Arilu took vengeance on those who had hurt her. There are celestials as well as mortals here at the temple. Yes, of course. The priestess nods to the winged creatures standing nearby, and they smile back at her. Angels and Azatas from the court of Lady Pulura often visited the temple in its days of glory. When this place was hidden away and we were given our mission, some of them decided to stay and support us. Like us, they have not gone beyond these walls for 100 years. They help us here in the temple, and of course, we are all united in our desire to heal the world wound. Arushula looks at the Azatas with a wistful delight, but she turns away, seemingly shy as soon as they return her gaze. Tell me about your mission. Why did you decide to remain here in the world wound? This temple has been blessed by Pulura. Whether it is day or night, the stars are always visible within the heart of this sanctuary. It is why those who study the stars conduct their observations here. Moreover, if we ever hope to understand the world wound, the only place to study it is within its very borders. If we leave Pulura's fall, all the work we have done over the past 100 years will be lost. Is that a repeat? I feel like I read that already. You may be wondering why this work is so important. The answer is simple. We are looking for a way to heal the world wound once and for all. Through our many years of study, we have discovered that the world wound cannot be closed like an ordinary portal or a planar gate because it is too much like a living creature, always growing and changing. The world wound does not simply exist on its own. There is something else that sustains it, and until we understand what that is, our efforts to close it will never succeed. However, we have achieved much over the years. We have disproved numerous theories and trialed various research methods. Tracking oscillating energy levels across the world wound led us to an important discovery. The world wound has a heart of sorts at the place where the wound was first opened, the Threshold Fortress. We also found a way to weaken the heart along with the demons that inhabit it. We will imbue a mighty artifact with the power given to us by Pulura. I think I've been through all this, I think. If not, it's similar to other conversation. Okay, I think that's it for now. We're going to wait until we have cleared up some of these things before we come back for this ritual. Okay, let's go tell Vistari and Christri the good news. Christri and Vistari stand together, showing a united front. They are not holding hands, but you can feel the unbreakable bond between them. I told Eliandra about everything. She won't stand in your way. Eliandra agreed to change the rules for us? That doesn't sound like her. But I guess we have all changed over the years. Thank you. We will never forget the kindness you and the High Priestess have shown us. The defiance fades from Christri's eyes. I don't know how you convinced her, but I think you've worked a miracle. I guess Alejandra really does care about us. I admit I was wrong. Thank you. Okay. May Pulura keep you safe. I'm so glad that the stars have led you here. Okay, I'm curious. I'm just waiting for... Okay, I guess that wasn't one of these lists. Waiting to see any of these get checked off here. So, we've got several people here to help. I'm not sure if it's going to involve actually leaving. There was one. We have to go to Winter Sun, at least for, where is it? Audens. Where'd it go? There's Regnard. Tell the guard about what transpired. Oh, this was that. Okay, so we're not quite done with the whole Christri thing. Let's go find that guard. All right.
I will guide us.
Getting overwhelmed by the quests in here. All right. Take care of one at a time. Just go find this concerned guard. The guard gives you a nod. It's like you've brought the spirit of victory with you, Commander of Dresden. I hope we don't have to wait much longer. There's no betrayal. This was all just a misunderstanding. The guard looks relieved. There wasn't? Whew, that's a load off my mind. Over the years, we've become a family here. If there truly was a traitor in the temple, well, it would change our lives forever. Thank you for the good news. Okay. Nice. Got one of them checked off. Cool. Okay. Well, we'll regroup here next time and figure out what else we need to do, and then I guess we've got a ritual to conduct. So, got more to do here on this Angel Mythic quest, I guess. Thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate it. It really means a lot to me. Hope you'll join me back here again next time. Bye-bye.